What's truly walking in the forests of the world? Are they large, upright, bipedal creatures? Are these just misidentifications known animals, or even humans? Welcome to another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. Join your hosts Billy Willard and Gary Kendrick every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, as they take you on a journey into the unknown and mysterious. We bring you compelling eyewitnesses and dedicated researchers who delve into this enigma. Have you had a sighting or encounter? We'd love to hear your story and potentially have you as a guest on our show. Reach out to us at Sasquatch Watch Radio on gmail.com or connect with us on YouTube, Facebook, and our website squatchradio.com. We do this show for you, our amazing listeners, and we're incredibly grateful for your support. Now get ready for another exciting episode with your host, Billy Willard and Gary Kendrick.
In the heart of the forest, legends awaken from the shadows. The tales of Sasquatch echo through time, a mystery that remains unsolved.
As the smoke clears, the sign stands resolute, a beacon of intrigue. What secrets lie within the forest's depths? The quest for truth begins at Sasquatch Watch Radio. Here's Billy Willard and Gary Kendrick.
All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. Today is Monday, June the 16th, 2025. And I will tell you guys ahead of time now that we are having technical difficulties tonight. I do know that we've got some pretty extreme weather in certain parts of Virginia here, so I'm assuming that Gary is not connected because he probably can't get connected, because I understand that they're having some pretty bad weather there. So I have not seen Gary on. John Cartwright was logged in earlier, and we had him on for a second, but we'll see what happens. He's trying to reconnect it as we speak. So we'll see if we can get everybody on here. Even my connection's even showing that it's unstable. So I think there's a whole bunch of different things going on tonight. How you doing, Digger Dog? Good to see you. Joe Dryden is already in the chat. It's good to see you. But we're, like I say, we're going to try to work through some of these technical issues. I'm not sure how the weather is in Ohio. If we can get JC on, we'll ask him. But I do know for a fact that here in Virginia it's pretty bad, especially down where Gary's at. So let's try this again. All right. Can you hear us, JC? Can you hear us? Hey, David, good to see you. Digger Dog, are you trying to tell me you're unstable? We're talking about the internet being unstable, Digger Dog. We're not talking about you. Okay, Lori, Gary's wife, just told me that he's working on getting logged in now, so we're working on it. Can you hear us, JC? I can see you now. I can see you sitting there with your iPhone and your just went black. I know you were joking, Digger. I know you were joking. Ohio Yeti, welcome to the show. Good to see you in the chat room. Yeah, I think a lot of storms going on. I know that. We've had rain here all day long up on the mountain. So it's been pretty nasty here too. But anyway, we'll see if we can work through some of these technical difficulties. And I got you guys on while we're waiting here for all this stuff to work out. Next Monday night, we've decided to do another topic show. And we're going to do the topic of best Bigfoot research areas. So I'd like if, maybe next week, if you guys could kind of join in on the live chat and tell us about some of your favorite research areas, that would be great. And we're going to talk about some of our favorites. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about 3 or 4 different states that I've had what I would consider nice activity in. So hopefully that'll be exciting. David, good to see you. Thomas Steenberg, good to see you. Hopefully the weather's a lot better up there right now than it is down here. Again, for all those just tuning in, we're having technical difficulties tonight. We got some bad weather in Virginia. My internet is showing it's unstable, so hopefully I'm coming through. I think Gary Kendrick is trying to get logged in at his place. I know they're having some bad weather there. I'm sure some of you that's been keeping up with the weather down that way, down towards North Carolina, it's bad. It's really bad. Bad flooding down in that direction as we speak. George Garcia, good to see you. So hopefully we'll get them logged in here shortly. Let me just since we're sitting here, let's just take a look. Let's take a look real quick here. Let's see what the weather's like down there. My understanding is it's pretty bad down in the direction of North Carolina. Yeah, they're definitely getting storms down there. All right, let's see what we got here. Gary, how's it going down your way?
I've lost track of time. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Oh, Lord.
Honestly, we're having internet difficulties tonight. And I think it's all weather related. So,
Yeah,
I guess
Elkhorn City, Kentucky is shut down off of 460.
yeah. Yeah, I know it's bad down your way.
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised your Starlink is working. I'm surprised.
Oh, it's doing wonderful right now.
Yeah.
I'm actually
Well,
pretty
good.
impressed.
Good. I'm glad. Because it's probably doing better than mine right now. Mine's showing unstable. Oh man. Am I coming in okay? Am I coming in okay though, Gary?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay, good. All right, we're gonna try to get I'm gonna try to get JC in here again. I've tried a couple times. Let's try it again. JC, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right, we have connection.
We're in.
We're in. Oh, Gary's looking for something. Oh, Bigfoot didn't come through your window. You know, he is pretty close down where you had your sighting, JC.
Oh, yeah.
I've got so much stuff going on, it ain't even funny.
I can understand.
Well,
I can understand.
I expected better from you, Gary.
I'm sorry, John. It's been one of those days. I had to drive all the way to Pasquotank, Kentucky for a doctor's appointment. And I had to wait for an hour and a half past my appointment time to get in.
Wow. Was that one of the VAs? The VA places?
No, this was actually, it's through the VH Community Care, but it's actually at the Pikeville Hospital.
Okay.
So I'm seeing a private doctor through the Veterans Administration.
Got it. All right, so now that we're all connected, JC, how you been doing?
Don't jinx it.
Oh, come on now. I know you've lost a lot of weight.
Yes, I have. And I've gained a lot of grandchildren.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens sometimes. That happens. All right, so I don't need to introduce you to Gary because you know Gary. We've all been in expeditions together. So, Gary, I don't know why Gary was waiting that hour and a half. Knowing Gary, he's probably got a whole list of questions.
Okay.
I've got a few.
Well, I got answers for you.
Well, we'll try it.
Uh-oh.
JC, if we could get started, the first thing that I'd like to ask is I know you had a personal encounter, and if you could, for the audience, can you describe your encounter, what you were doing, and what happened?
Sure. You're trying to give me nightmares tonight, aren't you?
You knew what you were walking
Not
into
really.
when you come on this show.
Just go right into it. Just don't cut me any slack.
No slack.
Nope.
You had a long enough vacation.
Okay. What year was that?
82.
Thank you, Billy. You know my sledding better than I do. I'm older than you, dude. It was 1982 in Pasquotank County, North Carolina, which is not far from the Virginia-Carolina border, in the Great Dismal Swamp. And I was we were deer hunting. Well, they were deer hunting. I was deer watching. Because I was first time ever, and I wasn't looking to shoot anything. And They took me to my deer stand about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I was in the stand for a couple hours. I saw some black bear. I saw some deer, and of course I saw a Sasquatch. Just one though, just one. It was enough. It was not about 9 o'clock in the morning. You got a question? Go ahead.
No, go ahead, John. Keep telling.
Okay.
I'll get into it.
I had been there for a few hours. It was dark when I climbed up there, and it was 9 o'clock, and so the sun was coming up, and it was broad daylight, and I had seen, like I don't know if you heard me. I saw a black bear, and I saw a bunch of deer, and of course some raccoons and possums and all those kind of critters. Then I started, I would guess it was around 9 a.m. I started hearing, branches breaking, sticks crackling, and, footsteps. And I wasn't thinking, at that time I barely knew what Bigfoot was. So, in fact, if it wasn't for the $6 million man, I wouldn't have known what a Bigfoot was. And I was like about 35 yards away. I was up about 15, 20 feet in a deer stand. Not really a deer stand like you connect to a tree. It was a permanent deer stand. It was like a platform, a wooden platform. And there was a camouflage, it was like a tent sitting on a platform. It was like that. And the first thing that happened to me was, I could hear it, not crashing through, just walking and breaking branches and things like that, but I couldn't see what it was. It was coming from my left to my right, coming in that direction. I heard it for half hour before I stepped out where I could see it. So it was like making its way through. And it was, my best guess was it was eating berries and leaves, because that's what I saw it doing when it kind of stepped out in front of me. And they were mulberries. I knew that because the place was full of them. It was about 30, 35 yards from where I was sitting in the tree stand. And it stepped out in front of me, and I could see its back was to me. Its back was to me. And it was reaching out, it was stripping berries and leaves and whatever it needed, it was eating. And so I don't even know I don't think it knew the whole encounter. I don't think it knew I was watching it. So, and he would reach out, and he would, I could see first, of course I thought it was a bear at first, but then I saw it reach out, and I saw that it was a hand. It wasn't a paw. So, and its back was to me. So I was like, whoa, that's not a bear. Bears don't have hands. So that's when the fear gripped me. It hit me. Hit me like, oh my God. Monsters are real. And oh, see, you guys had to make me talk about it.
There was a point in time though that it either it realized you were there because I know it turned.
Well, I don't know if it knew I was there, but it was turning and looking over. You look over his shoulder this way, and you look over his shoulder this way. But I don't know if it knew I was there. I really don't. So I don't want to make any guesses that if it knew I was there or not, because it wasn't. If it knew I was there, it didn't care. It stood there in front of me for a while, eating berries and leaves and things like that. Like I said, I saw it had hands, and I was like, that is not a bear. And that's when it hit me, and I was like, oh my God, this is a Bigfoot. And it was like, oh, fear just, hit me. I was 17 years old, so I couldn't. And it was like the first real time I had ever been hunting or in the woods. Just my luck.
Yeah.
And it was, it's still, when I talk about it, that feeling comes back to me. So it's like I'm 17 again.
Yeah.
Just a boy in the woods. So it had its back to me. Its shoulders must have been 4 feet wide. It was huge and muscular. I could only see it from the waist up. That's just my luck. I see a Bigfoot. I never see his feet. So that stunk. He was reaching out, and he'd strip a whole handful of leaves or berries and shove them in his mouth, and then he'd go on to the next branch, and he did that. And he stood there for about 5 minutes, and he kept going, but I could still hear him, but I couldn't see him, because when he stepped to the right, I couldn't see him anymore, but I could hear him. Mm-hmm. So I guess I got lucky when he stepped out in the spot that he stepped out in, that I could see him from the waist up, and for like 5 minutes I watched him. And he took his, if he knew I was there, like I said, he didn't care, or he didn't know. So.
All right.
I lean towards he didn't know.
Right.
Because even though I felt like screaming, I didn't.
I know. I know, JC, when you talk about this stuff, it brings a lot back.
Yeah, it does. That's
and,
why
like you said, you get that feeling and all that.
Yeah, that's why
I'm gonna
go ahead.
I'm gonna try to dig a little deeper.
All right.
Can you describe what you saw as far as like maybe a size estimate, if you saw facial features, what kind of gait you had, weather conditions, things like that?
The weather conditions were clear. The sun was up. It was like I said, it's about 9:30 in the morning, right around there. Clear. Yeah, it was. The sun was all up. I could see him clearly. He was only about 30 yards away, and plus I was up high, looking down on him, and I could see him very well. Yeah. So he was brownish with black. I mean, dark color. It went from brown to blacks. He wasn't all one color. He was patchy because he had like it was like mixed black, brownish, blackish. He had this like ridge that went up the back of his head, to the cone shape on top, back down here, and the musculature was like Arnold Schwarzenegger was 8 feet tall, 9 feet tall, whatever, and he kept going like this. When he didn't turn his head, he kind of tipped it back, like to look like this. And then he would turn his head a little bit, but it didn't like he could turn his head like we can. It wouldn't go back as far because I think his chin was hitting his shoulder like this because he'd have to turn his body to really look back, and he leaned his head back like this, and he I don't think he ever knew I was there because I don't think he would have stuck around so long if he knew I was there, or he would have came at me or something. But I don't know. That's speculation. I could hear him even when I could see him. He stepped into I never saw him from the waist down because he was towering over the bushes, and then because he stepped out right in a perfect spot where I could see him from like the waist up, and he was, I was like, monsters are real, and he was blackish, brownish. Like I said, his shoulders were 4 feet wide. He had a conical shaped head. He had muscles and a big old chest. I couldn't see his feet or below the waist, so I couldn't see any of that. Did you have any other questions? I mean, what would you?
What do you think the size would have been? I know it was at its back to you. It was kind of squatted down. Because I'm familiar with your encounter, that's how I know that.
No, he wasn't. He was standing up because when they got me after I climbed down out of the tree or the stand, and I told them what I had seen, and of course, you know what happens once you tell somebody you saw Bigfoot. So they were laughing and making fun of me, and and I was terrified and embarrassed and 14 years old. So, and this particular picture right here is what I saw. To the best of my knowledge, it looks exactly like what I saw.
Yeah, if you want to tell everybody, JC, who did that artwork for you.
Bill, you're gonna have to help me. because I'm old and I can't remember people's names.
Well, it was the same gentleman who does everything for
The Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Daniel Falconer.
Daniel Falconer.
Yeah.
And I know that you and Daniel spent some time over the phone before he got that just right.
Yeah. I described, and he did his first draft, and then I'd say, no, this isn't quite right, and the color here is not, so yeah, it took about a week or two to where we got it exact. This is exactly what I saw. It's like I took a picture of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a pretty scary image just to start with.
Oh yeah, it is.
I am curious though, Gary, how close in similarity is that to what run out in front of your Jeep?
Size-wise, the dimensions are really close. The muscle mass and things like that. The color's a little off. What I saw was more a reddish brown than it was the dark brown and black. Mine was more of if you've ever seen a cinnamon bear, the cinnamon and black bears, that's about the color. And the facial features weren't as rough. Mine was more like a defined, almost humanish face, with the exception of the nose, which was ginormous. Flat lips, real flat lips. But yeah, as far as size goes, yeah, that's pretty close.
Well, yeah. I always see, from all the Bigfoot things Billy used to make me go to.
Hey, you went willingly. I didn't hold a gun.
There are witnesses who describe them. Sometimes they describe them as humanish, and sometimes they describe them as primates. So what I saw, that's what I saw, and that doesn't look human to me.
Just to be honest, it has, as far as the facial features and things go, it has like a real mix of both human features and ape features. The skin on the one that I saw was like a really, really dark tan instead of the darker like the black on this one. But as far as, like I said, shoulders probably 4 feet wide, arms were massive, just absolutely massive. And I know when you have an encounter, certain things stick out in your mind, and that's the one thing that sticks out in my mind is just how massive it was.
Oh, I skipped over something. I could smell it before I could see it. And boy, that's why I called him Stinky. He
describe the smell a little bit, JC.
Oh, kind of ammonia and crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he would urinate or poop on himself. So.
Well, of course, if you eat a lot of mulberries, that may happen.
Yeah, it would.
Thomas Steenberg says, John Cartwright. Did we meet in Ohio in 2001 where you told me your encounter?
Me?
Yeah, did you meet Thomas Steenberg in Ohio in 2000?
Steenberg in Washington. Billy and I went to a Bigfoot gathering in Washington, and we met him there.
Yeah, that was up in Yakima.
Yep.
And this is another one, and I know it may be hard for you to talk about, JC, but you had a prolonged encounter. Most people's encounter is just seconds, but you observed this thing for what you said for like 5 minutes. And that's actually, as far as research goes, that's a long time. Now, like I said, I know you've had a prolonged encounter, and with your prolonged encounter that you had, if you had the opportunity, would you like to see one again?
You know, fate is fate. if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It was meant to be. So I'm not going to argue with. It's part of my life. It's one of my experiences. So yes, it was meant to be. You know.
All right. So Gary, I asked JC what kind of music he likes. I kind of knew what his answer was going to be, but I asked him anyway. So he likes rock music. He likes one band in particular. And if my memory serves me correctly, I think he told me it was classic rock and he likes REM. So what I did, it's not easy to do, believe me. So I got as close as I could. So don't kill me if it ain't just right.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
All right, so here we go, guys. This is John Cartwright's new theme song.
Oh boy.
John Cartwright with his rifle in hand, fall creeping slow over Carolyn land. Deer tracks fading in the damper skin, but something else moved where the shadows begin. The pines whisper secrets older than time. A figure emerged that didn't fit the rhyme. 8 feet tall with a stare like stone. In the heart of the woods, he was not alone. Big
How'd I do? Did I do good?
Absolutely.
That was excellent.
Yeah.
That was real good. That was real good.
Y'all do know that I put up a poll asking people what they like most about the show, and the songs are not one of the votes.
And that surprises me because we have had some excellent songs on here. We really have. John, I'm going to hop in and I'm going to hit you with a weird question. And I try to ask all the guests this because I like to try to get into
you want to ask me.
Yeah, I try to get into other people's headspace to see what people are thinking. And the question is animal, mineral, or vegetable? And I know you listen to the show.
Animal.
100%.
Yep.
Another thing, too, that I wanted to hit on, your sighting happened in 1982.
Right.
Okay. In 1982, there was not a lot of stuff out there on Bigfoot.
Right.
It just
I didn't talk about it until around the time I met Billy, though. So I did make a report to the BFRO. It's on there in Pasquotank County, North Carolina. It's the only one. So other than that, until started talking to Billy and we became good friends, and he started getting me out, back out into the woods because I was scared to death to go back into the woods for 20 some odd years. So. And Billy was there the first time I went back.
I tell Billy this.
You did good.
I tell Billy this all the time. I go to this one particular Bigfoot festival every year, and it's in Townsend, Tennessee, and you get the opportunity to meet the speaker. And they asked me, "Oh, are you with a group?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "What group?" And I said, "Sasquatch Watch of Virginia." And they say, "Who runs that group?" And every time I tell them it's Billy Willard, they're all like, "Oh yeah, I know Billy. He's a great guy."
Billy and I went to lots and lots of Bigfoot shindigs all over the country.
Yep. Everywhere.
At my last count, we had been to 13 different states. So.
Yeah, I agree with what Mick says. Mick says, well, the fact that his account is unwavering to each detail speaks volumes towards the veracity of what he said. Now,
thank you. I appreciate that. It does. People aren't always as nice as that.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I know you have been to a lot of festivals and things like that, and we've been on several research expeditions together.
Yes, we have.
From the time that you started your search into Bigfoot until now, with all the stories and things that you've heard, how many of them are close to what you saw, what other people describe? I think how to say this. How close is the image that other people tell you about?
It's half and half. Some people, say it would look more like a human, but what I saw, it was definitely not human. Or,
And see, that's one thing too. You mentioned the smell. I've never had an experience with the smell.
You're not missing anything.
I've never had that scent come up. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of grateful.
When it hit me, when it first hit me, it knocked me down on the floor of the tree stand, and everything started spinning around, and it really knocked me for a loop. It was so bad.
Yeah, I've heard.
John, did you ever hear it make any noise?
Just walking noises and tree branches and and leaf litter, not any. Oh,
Type of
yeah,
vocalization or
I
anything?
couldn't hear. No, nothing. I didn't hear anything.
Now, you said you were probably, about 30, 35 yards from it, which is really close.
Right.
And with your proximity to it, and this may hit some switches, but I'm not trying to, okay? Like I said, I know you personally, and I'm not trying to, cause any trouble or anything. Within that proximity, describe what your feelings were. What were you feeling when you observed this?
Well, first, like I said, it made me, the smell and the fear knocked me down on the bottom of the tree stand. And so, I was dizzy. I was terrified. When I sat up, got myself back together, it was still there, and it was, eating. It was still eating, and it would step into the woods, and sometimes I could still see it, and sometimes I couldn't. But I heard it for like I saw it for about 5 minutes, and I heard it for about 5 minutes more, just making its way through life. So,
when you stepped down out of the stand, did you go up to where it was at to see if it had left any type of physical evidence?
Later on, yes. I wasn't coming down out of that tree until they came and pulled me down. And then they didn't believe me.
So the smell didn't linger where they smelled it.
They didn't mention it. I guess not. Or maybe they just smelled too. Because they weren't really nice people.
Now, when you first started researching after you had your encounter, and it's, we've all been doing this for quite a while.
Yeah.
Do you think that how do you think that research has changed for the better? And then how does it change for the worse?
It's always been the same way, but there are good things about it, and there are good people in this field, some of the greatest people I've ever known, and Billy included in that. Diane Stocking, Eric Altman. I met my wife from Bigfoot. Bigfoot brought me to my wife. So yeah, there's good things about it, and there's bad things about it. So, but you just don't focus on the bad stuff, because when you get involved in it, as I have been over the years, that's just the way it is. That's just the way there's good people, and there's bad people. There's the naysayers, and there's people that are just in this for money. I'm not saying any names. And there's people who want answers, which is what I want. I could have saved a lot of money if I had got into Bigfoot with all equipment.
That's what I'm trying to figure out is how everybody thinks there's a lot of money in Bigfoot research. I haven't made a penny. I've spent a lot, but I ain't made a penny yet.
I've lost money.
Yeah.
You've lost me a couple times, so be quiet.
Y'all, I never left him in the woods, so don't let him think that I left him out there.
Whether
we talked about it a few times. We talked about leaving him for a few times, but we always went back and got him. Now, I know this was a traumatic incident for you, John, and I really appreciate you talking about it. But with it being a traumatic incident for you, what advice do you have for a younger investigator that's never seen one?
I've never seen, I've never heard of, I'm sure there are violent encounters with Bigfoot because, it's an animal. I guess if they're protecting their family or their offspring or something like that, they can get violent. But I don't think, and there's always, especially up in your way there, Gary, there's always, you got some mean Sasquatches up where you live from all the reports I've read from come down that come up there. They're hillbillies. they're not
I think I look
polite.
too much like a Bigfoot for them to jump on me.
Yeah, and got to see Billy and I over a couple of years' time. We squatched in 13 different states, from the East Coast to the West Coast, and it was, I would never trade that for anything. It was a wonderful experience. With my buddy.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in, getting outside and spending some time. I had Billy post a little video for me because I'm not computer literate. But I took my nephew, he's 8, his, first time going Bigfoot. And when I asked him to start with, I told him, would you like to go Sasquatching? And he said, how about no? And I finally got him talking to go. And we found some interesting stuff. We found a small tree break and a possible footprint. And that kid, that tickled him to death.
All right, so I know for a fact that Robin's over there, so you might as well tell her to come on over to the camera.
My first Bigfoot conference was a interesting experience. Gary, have you ever heard of Janice Carter?
Yes. Yes.
Do I need to explain it?
No. I understand.
She was talking to the woods. And I was like, puzzled. I was like, oh, Billy doesn't talk to the woods.
No, Billy doesn't talk to the woods. I don't know. Now that I've gotten older, I might.
I've met a lot of, of course, Eric Altman and Diane Stocking, my wife. Well, at least I didn't put Don in front of you.
Come on, Robin, get in front of the camera. We know. I knew you were there.
She just stepped out of the shower. Don't stare.
And JC, you mentioned, and we're all getting older. I mean, you can tell by the white. We're all getting older. Do you think that
in 2008?
Do you think that the Bigfoot phenomenon will be proven in your lifetime?
I hope so, but no.
At this rate, I would have to agree with you.
I've got a lot of hope in this. Yeah. I kind of got a lot of hope in this new DNA study that's coming out of North Carolina. But
Oh, I've heard that.
it still leaves me to wonder, because once you have...
Yeah, come on, man. How many times are they going to say things?
Yeah.
Oh, we got the DNA. Come on. Well, I hope you're right, though. But you know what I mean.
I'd like to see something come out of it. If nothing else, just to say, yeah, there is something out there that we don't know what it is. That's
Well,
that would be my next goal.
They've already had plenty of them that come back as unknown primate.
Yeah, Thomas Steinberg says the next 5 years will tell a lot.
And I know why, and I know what he means by that.
Well, the next 5 years, we'll be gone. So you guys better send that message up to me somehow.
You ain't going nowhere. Robin won't let you go nowhere.
No. We'll send some smoke signals or something if we have to.
I hope not. I mean, my granddaughters just think I really am the WGBH. That's all I care about.
Yep. You're going to enjoy them grandchildren. I know I enjoy mine.
Absolutely. I wish I had some.
That's right. You're still waiting. You just got nephews and nieces. Yeah.
That's it. I'm trying to train them right, though.
Yep. Hard to do.
Billy, I know that wasn't a lot, but that's all I've got. I've heard JC's story a lot, and I'm going to say it too. I've never heard him alter the story. I've never heard him add anything to it. It's always been pretty much what he described. And I've got, it's a credible report, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to it. I mean, and like I said, from 1982, there was not, it wasn't like you could turn on a TV and see Bigfoot everywhere.
Right.
And, to have that much detail in what you saw, you actually had to have seen something.
Here's my Bigfoot hunter.
There you go. You bite his ankle.
Yep. He'll go right for the toe.
That's right. So, are you guys getting a lot of sighting reports at the USBRA?
Well, go ahead.
A few.
A few. Okay. So things are still somewhat active.
Yeah. I mean, well, we actually had our first black bear sighting in Ohio.
Okay.
And it actually got hit by a semi-truck about 5 miles from where we used to hold Squatch Fest at. So.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. At least you got some sighting reports coming in. That's good. Always good.
A lot of the sighting reports, though, I take with a grain of salt because they're coming in. Now they're having a Bigfoot conference at Mohegan, where we did a lot of our research at. So it's turning into another Salt Fork, where there's a lot of Bigfoot reports, dozens of them, and it's other researchers out there. So.
Yep. Probably would knock reports and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
They have a naturalist at Salt Fork who actually pimps out Bigfoot.
I saw him. I've seen him. Yep. Yeah. I can't think of his name, but I know exactly who you're talking about. He was on a recent documentary.
Oh yeah, and he dresses like he's in camo. He's in camo the whole, even when he's not in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's the resident Sasquatch expert at Salt Fork.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, we all know what happens there. You never know if you're hearing somebody else that's searching for the same thing. So
Yeah.
You know, that's the only bad thing about it. Now, see, the festivals, like, you know, nowadays, most of these Bigfoot things are festivals, which are held in the streets and stuff like that. And it's probably a little better that way as far as not concentrating in a park.
Yep.
Yeah, because especially because they're my parks, and I don't like those yahoos running all over my parks.
Yep.
And you know, too, just like Billy said, when you're in Salt Fork, any evidence that you get, you really have to break it down and scrutinize it, because it could be any number of anybody out there trying to hoax somebody. It could be other people out there wood knocking and yelling. You know, it's really, especially during the conference. If you find anything during the conference, it's suspect.
They'll beat on trees, and then their friends that are down the block are beating on a tree, and
yeah, absolutely. All right, we're gonna close out the show. Can you hang on, JC, while we close out the show?
Sure.
Okay, we'll be right back. So I want to thank everybody for being on the show tonight. The chat room was really alive tonight. Thomas Steenberg, Digger Dog, Ron Kendrick. Goodness sakes. There's a bunch of them.
Whether you like it or not, I'll always be a member of Sasquatch Watch.
I understand. So we had Mick, David. Who's this Gary Kendrick guy? I don't know. We'll skip him. Joshua. Flat Rock. I even saw a bunch of
Jordan Garcia.
Yep. Ohio Yeti. There's a few new ones in here. So
there was a lot of Kendrick.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of Kendricks on tonight, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, we're getting Dogman reports too.
Oh man. All right. Well, we'll have to talk about that. So, thank you all for coming again next week. Of course, you didn't hear this yet, Gary. So next week we're doing a topic show, best Bigfoot research areas, and I've got about 3 or 4 states that I want to talk about. So
excellent.
I'll see you next week, guys.
It sounds good. So we'll see all of you next week, Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Y'all have a great rest of the week.
Billy, I'd just like to tell everybody that was on. I'm sorry I was late. That was my fault. I got caught up in some other stuff that I was doing, and just it slipped my mind. And I want to apologize to everybody. That was not very professional of me, but I'm sorry.
You are fine. All right. See y'all next week. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Sasquatch Watch Radio, the official podcast partner of Big. We've got groundbreaking news that'll shake the very foundations of the cryptid community. Sasquatch Watch Radio is incredibly proud to announce our exclusive podcast partnership with Big, the Bigfoot Investigative Group. For the first time ever, you'll get an inside look into the world of Bigfoot investigations through the eyes of true American heroes. Big is comprised of an elite team of United States Navy SEAL veterans, United States Marine Corps veterans, and United States Army veterans, bringing their unparalleled discipline, strategic thinking, and investigative prowess to the hunt for Sasquatch. Prepare for an auditory adventure like no other.
Starting this Monday, tune in at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for thrilling new interviews and occasional updates directly from the Bigfoot Investigative Group. Sasquatch Watch Radio is honored to be the official podcast of Big's Navy SEAL team, and we can't wait to share their incredible work with you. Don't miss out. Monday nights at 9 p.m. ET, only on Sasquatch Watch Radio.
Thanks for tuning in to Sasquatch Watch Radio. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. Stay connected. Don't miss our next exciting show, airing next Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. To stay updated, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd also love for you to join our Facebook page at facebook.com/Sasquatch Watch Radio and check out our website at squatchradio.com. Share your stories and feedback. Your feedback means the world to us, so please give us a thumbs up on our shows and let us know what you think. Have you had an encounter? If you've had a sighting or encounter, we want to hear from you. Reach out to us through our website, YouTube channel, or Facebook page. And if you're interested in being a guest on our podcast, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next Monday night.